Senate President Coco Pimentel says a joint session with the members of Congress isn't necessary. Speaking to CNN Philippines, Pimentel says he believes it's better to hold separate assemblies. He also explains the 3/4 vote that's needed from each chamber to amend the Constitution.
The clear consensus was that the interpretation of all the senators is that the proposed amendments to the Constitution must be approved by 3/4 vote of each chamber voting separately. So that is the end, that is the final act. It must be voting separately. That is our conclusion. And then we backtrack what is the process for us to reach that final act. And we believe that it's better that we also proceed separately, meaning the Senate can decide to convene itself as the so-called Constituent Assembly and start entertaining proposals to amend the Constitution, and then also the House can do the same. Once we have a product, an output approved by 3/4 of our members, then we send our output to the other House for them to consider. And if let's say there is now also a agreement on the part of the other House by 3/4 vote, and then there's 100% agreement on a specific proposal or a specific version of the new Constitution, then this will be the one presented to the people through a plebiscite.
Pimentel is set to meet with House Speaker Bebot Alvarez to discuss the issue. Pimentel says no date has been set yet for the meeting. Hundreds joined the so-called Black Friday protests. Journalists and advocacy groups condemn what they call an attack on press freedom in the Rappler case. Our Trisha Terada reports live from Quezon City. Trisha, tell us what happened in the rally there tonight.
Mitzi, if there's a network war, we're not seeing it tonight. At the very least, it's been set aside for one common cause, and that's press freedom. Now, this whole stretch of the Boy Scout Circle here, where we're standing in Quezon City, was packed with supporters joining the pool of media practitioners, members of the academe, veteran journalists, and labor groups as they fight or defend the right to free expression and democracy. Both local and foreign media are covering the rally, which comes after the Security and Exchange Commission ruled to shut down online news agency Rappler.
We're going to hold the line. We're going to stand firm. We're going to answer the charges. We have nothing to be afraid of. We haven't done anything illegal, and we condemn these actions as attempts to try to turn journalism into a crime.
Now, media institutions and personalities are one in saying this is tantamount to oppression and harassment. They're coming together not only to the defense of Rappler, but of press freedom. We had the chance to speak with University of the Philippines mass communication professor Danilo Aro earlier, and he talked about how things were during martial law under the Marcos administration.
This is very much reminiscent of martial law, albeit in a very sinister and silent manner. The Duterte administration is being creative in terms of harassing and intimidating the media, but there is also the brutality, the bullying tactics, and the crassness. Right now, he might end up as being worse than Marcos.
The protesters are criticizing the government for calling Rappler a fake news agency. They say it's the Duterte government that peddles lies and fake information. The media groups and personalities are urging the public not to allow trolls and the administration to control the narrative. They're also calling on the public to fight for and with the Fourth Estate, the media, before freedom is taken away. Mitzi?
Thank you, Trisha Terada there reporting to us live from Quezon City. Well, Rappler's legal problems are piling up. This time, the online news agency is facing a complaint for violating the anti-cybercrime law. Our Anjo Alimario has more.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre ordered the National Bureau of Investigation to look into Rappler's possible violations of the Constitution and related laws. This is in connection with the Securities and Exchange Commission decision revoking Rappler's registration over ownership and control issues. A day after NBI subpoena against Rappler CEO Maria Ressa and two others came out. But NBI Cybercrime Division Chief Manuel Duarte is quick to point out there's no link between the two.
Yung timing is not within our control. We are already investigating this case when the issue about the second Rappler crop up, and the instruction by the DOJ for us to conduct proof.
Businessman Wilfredo King filed the online libel complaint against Reza and former Rappler reporter Reynaldo Santos in October last year. The NBI also summoned businessman Benjamin Bitanga. The complaint stemmed from a 2012 story written by Santos linking King to former Chief Justice Renato Corona. King allegedly lent his SUV to Corona. Duarte says his office received King's complaint affidavit on October 13, 2017. The subpoenas, though, were only issued last January 10, a day before SEC handed down its controversial decision. But why was Bitanga included?
There is allegation against his interest also, or probability of involvement dito sa case pending before us.
Duarte explains the 2012 article is still covered by the anti-cybercrime law, even if the story was published before the law was enacted.
So even if it was posted, first posted on 2012, but it can still be seen, di ba, hanggang doon sa time na nagreklamo sila, or at the time of the effectivity of cybercrime law. So, ang aming presumption, as far as investigation is concerned, they still violated ng cybercrime law.
The Cybercrime Division Chief points out they're not compelling anyone to appear on January 22nd, but
voluntary or walang compulsion. Only that, ito sana yung opportunity nila na mapakinggan namin.
Reza said in an interview with CNN Philippines that this is part of an effort to take Rappler down and on press freedom. She will also comply with a subpoena and appear before the NBI on Monday.
The president's political party, PDP Laban, will still push for a constituent assembly or CONAS instead of a constitutional convention or CONCON to amend the constitution. PDP Laban Vice Chair Alfonso Cusi says the party believes CONAS is the faster way of shifting to federalism. Party officials want the change before President Duterte steps down in 2022.
Ang aspiration ng party is what is the fastest. The fastest way, which is a CONAS. Nahabol lang natin na ma-implement ito during the the term of the president, so that there could be a transition period.
The Senate and House of Representatives, however, still cannot reconcile which method must be used in amending the Constitution. The House is pushing for a CONAS, where both the senators and representatives will jointly vote on the proposed amendments. But the Senate wants separate voting. Filipinos can also vote for their delegates in the CONCON. Cusi says the differences of opinion among lawmakers show how serious they are in the process. But if leaders of both chambers are in a stalemate, Cusi says they will let the Supreme Court intervene. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Teresita Herbosa makes it clear the decision to revoke Rappler's business registration is legally sound. She downplays the press freedom angle in the case and challenges Rappler to prove its claim that the decision was politically motivated.
Whoever, didn't get what they wanted from us, maybe they wanted us to say that the PDRs are legal, then they have their own agenda. They'll probably resort to things like that in order to what? Divert people's attention to what was the real issue.
Opposition senators want an investigation on a 16 billion peso warship deal. They filed a resolution calling for two committees to conduct an inquiry on the purchase of two missile-capable frigates as part of the military modernization program. The probe seeks to determine whether or not the acquisition, quote, promotes the goals of the modernization program and complies with pertinent laws. This comes in the wake of allegations that Special Assistant to the President, Bongo, was involved in the process. Go is denying he intervened in the project. In a text message, he said he's willing to attend the Senate hearing to face his accusers. The Defense Department welcomed the Senate investigation, saying they have long been waiting for the opportunity to shed light on the issue so that the truth will finally be known. Breaking news for you, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III orders the suspension of deployment of workers to Kuwait following the death of 7 overseas Filipino workers in the Gulf state. In Administrative Order Number 25, Bello directed the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, or POEA, to stop the processing and issuance of employment certificates pending the investigation. The ban comes on the heels of President Duterte's statement during the launching of the Overseas Filipino Bank on Wednesday to impose a total ban on the deployment of overseas Filipino workers, particularly household workers, to Kuwait following reports of sexual abuse. After rolling out its passport on wheels, the Foreign Affairs Department now launches a portal that exclusively caters to first-time overseas Filipino workers applying for passports. Camille Abadisho with the details.
These women from Mindanao are set to leave for the Middle East to try their luck as overseas Filipino workers. First-time OFW Amina waited 4 months just to get her passport.
Mahirap, pero magpursige para makakuha lang po ng passport.
Sa Davao po ako unang nagkuha ng passport, sa DFA po ng Davao. Napakahirap po kasi mano-mano po yung pagkuha. Hindi gaya ngayon na may mga online.
But the Department of Foreign Affairs initiates a quicker way for overseas Filipino workers to secure passport appointments, an online portal dedicated for first-time OFWs.
Ang kinaganda talaga ng portal, meron ng guaranteed slot yung mga agency na mag-a-apply ng passport netong mga tao na to. At hindi ka na, doon siguradong walang corruption. Walang fixer, sila mismo diretso.
So unlike the portal for those who are not provided by law to have a special lane, no? Nakalagay lang kung anong araw ang available. Sa inyo, kahit anong araw, okay siya.
DFA has registered over 100 licensed recruitment agencies, each given a username and password to the portal on the DFA website.
Nanawagan yung mga travel agencies, no, na ibalik yung slot nila. I'm sorry, we cannot do that. Pasensya na po kayo kasi kung kayo bibigyan ng allotment, marami din ibang hihingi ng allotment. Babalik na naman tayo sa dati na napakaraming exception, napakaraming bintang na pag dito may bayad, dito wala, etc. No?
Once the recruitment agency logs in, it can proceed with setting an appointment for first-time OFWs. Licensed recruitment agencies are automatically given at least 6 slots per day. Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano says travel agencies continue to ask to get their passport appointment slots back, but Cayetano says they have decided to prioritize OFWs. Cayetano reminds overseas Filipino workers that aside from the portal for new applicants, they can enjoy the OFW courtesy lane to renew their passports.
An extension of the MRT3 will soon connect Metro Manila and Bulacan. That's welcome news for commuters heading to northern provinces. But before that happens, transport authorities warn of inconvenience as the construction of the MRT7 begins. They say commuters should brace for heavier traffic. AC Nichols reports.
On a typical working day, motorists and commuters alike expect traffic buildup on North Avenue in Quezon City. But the ordeal will get tougher. Traffic will get heavier as workers begin the construction of the MRT7. An average of 41,000 vehicles pass through North Avenue daily.
Reklamo tayo, traffic yan, mga ganyan. Wala tayong masisimulang infrastructure. So ibig sabihin, habang buhay na tayo magtsatsaga, padami ng padami, congested na ang Manila.
Workers will begin the installation of rail tracks towards Quezon City Memorial Circle. Heavy equipment and materials will move in while fences will be put up by 6 p.m. on January 20th. Construction begins midnight the next day, January 21st. The first phase will cover the streets from here at Veterans Memorial Medical Center to Agham Road. 2 lanes in the center of North Avenue will be blocked off, leaving 3 lanes going to QC Circle and 2 lanes going to EDSA, passable to motorists. Motorists are advised to take alternate routes.
Wala tayong tuloy naman ng government natin na project, proyekto na ang gobyerno natin yan, di maganda rin. Pagtsaga lang muna natin yung traffic.
Wala tayong magagawa pagka ganun. Kung kinakailangan
The MMDA is coordinating with the MRT-7 Traffic Management Task Force to make sure workers will be limited to 2 lanes.
Kung kakayanin naman natin na kahit pa paano mai-squeeze natin kapag naitayo na natin yung hanggang sa poste na stage, ililiitan natin yung working area kasi hindi naman na ganun kalaki yung mga equipment na gagamitin.
The MRT-7 is expected to be completed by 2019. Its line will span 22.8 kilometers from San Jose del Monte in Bulacan Province to North Avenue. AC Nichols, CNN Philippines.
Tax reform will push prices up this year, but the adjustment should be small and temporary. The Bangko Sentral says inflation could rise to 3.4% this year, slightly up from 3.2% in 2017. It will revert to that level by 2019. Economists say
our forecast indicates that the impact on inflation for 2018 and beyond is less than 1%.
Economists say tax reform will be the biggest factor to consider this year. Higher taxes on fuel and coal will be most crucial, as these could have an impact on power rates and transport fares.
Coal, for example, oil, these are products that will be used to create electricity, and that would also result in higher electricity rates. So fuel and electricity may probably be some of the products in the market basket that will show sharp increases this year as far as inflation is concerned.
Airport authorities will terminate airline service provider Miascore. This comes after President Duterte called out Miascore for several reports of baggage theft incidents. Authorities say this should serve as a warning to other providers to improve their baggage handling services or face punishment. Our Rex Remitio tells us more.
A few weeks ago, Balikbayan Jovenil de la Cruz lost more than 80,000 pesos worth of items after his baggage was pilfered. This got the ire of President Duterte, who immediately called for the termination of the contract of airline service provider Miascore.
I would demand that there will be justice instant. Kung sino yung service provider dyan, you terminate the contract and look for another one.
6 Miascore personnel admitted to stealing the luggage. They are now facing theft charges. Miascore is one of the many airline service providers that operates in the country's major airports. Airline companies get their services on handling of baggages, cargoes, warehousing, and in-flight catering. Miascore has 39 airline clients, including flag carrier Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pacific. But since Miascore's accreditation is now gone, airline companies must get a new service provider. Manila International Airport Authority General Manager Ed Monreal says passengers have nothing to worry about. Miascore has 2 months to wind down its operations as airline firms look for a new provider.
Kailangan huminto ang aditong mga pangyayari dahil sa unang-una ang nabibiktima at nagkakaroon ng mga insidente ay ang mga pasahero natin sa paliparan.
The MIAA is now imposing stricter guidelines for baggage handlers. Uniforms and pants with pockets as well as large boots are prohibited. Using mobile phones and wearing jewelry are also not allowed while on duty. They must also wear body cameras from now on. Passengers, meanwhile, must hand carry valuable items, use sturdier luggage, ensure locks are closed, and put plastic wraps if possible.